Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everybody is having a good holiday. Thanks for joining me. I am Dr. Felicia Adderley, a Bahamian born and raised, U.S. trained physiotherapist, and I help people take control over their lives after injury or trauma and go back to living their best lives and doing the things that they love to do. I have helped hundreds of patients reach their physiotherapy goals. I have a bachelor's in biology / physical therapy. Getting a little feedback here. Hold on. All right, so I am a certified kinesiotaping practitioner, and I hold a manual lymphatic drainage certification as well. I have attended countless courses in cancer rehabilitation, lymphatic drainage, and hand therapy. I think that education is very important, and I think that lifelong learning is really important as well. So it's something that you just have to keep going. You have to keep developing yourself. I have been a licensed physiotherapist for 8 years and running a successful private practice, Adderley Physiotherapy, for 4 years. If you can hear me, do me a favor and just drop like a 1 in the comments. So let me see. If you can hear me, just let me know so that I know everything is set up the way that it should be. Also, I believe you have to allow StreamYard to see your comments so that I can see it on this end. Okay, awesome. All right, looks good. Looks good. All right, so I'm going to jump into the topic today. I won't keep you very long. But the topic today is 5 reasons why your physio or your physiotherapy failed. So 5 reasons why your physio failed. So first reason, realistic expectations were not set up from the beginning. So this is really important, and this is an area that I think a lot of people, thanks, Betty. Good day to you also, and thanks, all the best to you also in 2021. So realistic expectations, this is number 1, were not set up from the beginning. People need to know from the beginning, from day 1, the first session, what they can expect. Because a lot of people walk into it and they don't really know what they should expect to get out of the entire experience. So an agreement basically needs to be made between the PT, the physiotherapist, and the patient on what is the outcome that the patient could realistically expect. The patient should tell their therapist what their goal is by the end of the sessions. So we would call this the patient goals. And it's very important to set these things up. Often people will say things like to be pain-free or for the pain to go away. That's the most common goal that people would tell me. And realistically, most of us have some pain on some days. Our entire lives, we don't live it without pain. So is it realistic to say that we're never going to have any pain? A person will never feel another thing after they get to the end of their therapy? Probably not. Okay. So I would say a better goal is to say, well, something like reduce pain would be a bit more realistic. But it's important to know, because if a person then goes through their therapy and gets to the end and they were thinking that they were never going to feel another thing ever again in life, they may then start to feel like, this therapy wasn't successful, not realizing that it wasn't realistic in the first place. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, inconsistency with attending sessions. So in order for therapy to really help a person, they actually have to show up. Okay. You have to be present to do the work and to be there to get the help that you need, and that the therapist can actually provide to you, because it's not everything that you can do on your own at home, or you can look it up on YouTube. You really do need that expertise. You need someone to examine you and see, well, what are the imbalances that may be contributing to this problem. You really need someone. You need to be there, and you need to show up, and you need to be consistent with that. Every once in a while is not going to do it. The results that you want to get, you're not going to see it. So you want to be there. If it's supposed to be twice a week, try to be there twice a week. If you miss a session, try to fill that in as best as you can. Once every other week is really not going to improve the situation much. especially if you are not doing number 3. So that brings me to the third point, which is not doing your home exercises. So the time that you spend at your sessions every week, it's not enough. If you want to really get the best results, then you have to be doing something on all those days in between, all those days, all those hours. So if there are 168 hours in a week, it can't possibly be enough to put 2 or 3 hours out of that towards the therapy and treatment, and then expect to reach your therapy goals, which should have been set up at the first session. So that takes you back to number 1. Okay. Remember that the most important person that's in this process, a part of this process, it's not the therapist, it's not the doctor, it's actually the patient. So it's really, the patient buying into what are those things that are going to help them, that the therapy is actually going to be helpful towards them, and then doing the things that's necessary to get to the goals, right? It's one thing to set goals, which we all know everybody does a lot of that at the beginning of every new year, right? But it's another thing to actually create an action plan and then follow that plan, stick with it, be consistent with it so that you can actually reach those goals. Goals without the action, it's not happening. Okay, so the most important part of the process is actually the patient. Okay, the patient has to be accountable for themselves, for their recovery, and ultimately for the outcome. The other healthcare professionals were all working together in a team with the patient, but the patient is at the center of that, and they have to do their part, point blank. All right, so number 4. Number 4 is not believing that therapy can help your condition. If you don't believe therapy can help you, then it really can't. That's what's been my experience. Persons that kind of come in from the first session and their mind is built up against the therapy, or they say, well, I'm here because the doctor sent me. They don't tend to get the best results because they really haven't bought into the therapy itself. They haven't approached it with a good attitude, a positive mindset, which are all things that really make the world of difference. People have to be open in order to receive their healing. Like they say, closed mouths don't get fed. So you have to, you have to open your mouth, open your mind. You have to speak positively about it. If people don't think that, people walk around and maybe say things like, well, this can't be fixed, this can't be healed. It's difficult to get anywhere and actually to meet those goals with that going on. So it's important to have that open mind and positive mindset. It makes the world of difference. It really does. So this brings me now to the 5th and final point. So the 5th point is not being motivated. Everyone needs something to motivate them. Okay, even for us to get out of bed, there has to be some motivation, whatever it is. If it's, maybe some goal you want to reach in life, if you got to go to work, to maybe make some money so that you can, pay your bills, or whatever the case is, pay your bills, get to the goals that you want to meet in your life. We all have different things that motivate us. For people that are parents, it's their kids that maybe get them out of bed. But when it comes to the therapy, for sure, we want to make sure that we have some type of motivation. Something has to drive us, right? We need something. So it's our fuel. Motivation is like fuel. You have to put gas in your car or it doesn't go. What happens? You stop in the middle of the road, right? So you're going to need something to fuel you, something to keep you going, something to keep you coming to the therapy sessions, right? Progress tends to be a good one. I think once a person gets started and gets going, the fact that they see that progress, it helps to give them some encouragement to help and keep them going. For some persons, it's return to work. Some people don't like to be at home. What I hear a lot is, I'm just at home eating and putting on weight, or I'm home and I'm bored. People want to go back to work. So that tends to be an excellent motivator as well. For some people, it could be things like, getting their independence back. A lot of people, really took a lot of pride in being able to do things for themselves. And when that is taken away, then that can be, really devastating for a lot of persons. So even the little things and being able to maybe get up and, go to the kitchen and make themselves something to eat, or being able to take a bath by themselves, some of the things that we would often take for granted on a daily basis, walking independently, not needing someone to move them around and get them from A to B. It's different for every person, but everybody needs something. We need that light at the end of the tunnel to help and keep us going. All right, so those are the 5 points that I have for you today. If by any chance you have any questions, you can go ahead and drop them in the comments now. Remember to allow StreamYard to see your name so that I can see any comments that you may have or any questions you might have at this time. So I'll give it a few minutes if there's any questions. And what I'll do, I'll review the points for anybody that may have just jumped on. So the topic was the 5 reasons why your physio failed. Number 1 was realistic expectations were not set up from the beginning. Number 2, inconsistency with attending sessions. Thanks, Vandia. Appreciate it. Number 3, not doing your home exercises. Number 4, not believing therapy can help your condition. And number 5, not being motivated. All right, so far not seeing any questions. Of course, you can always post anything that you may have to add or think of after the fact. You can post it underneath this video. I will try my hand at trying to upload this to Instagram as well. We are on Instagram also as Adderley at Adderley Physio. We're on several social media platforms. So if you're on any of the other platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as Dr. Felicia Adderley. Feel free to follow, like, share. You can share this broadcast with anybody that you think may actually be able to benefit from this information. Also, feel free to visit the website, which you could get to easily by just going at the top of the information about the page itself. On the Facebook page, you can go onto our website, www.adderleyphysio.com. And if you'd like to join our mailing list, that way you can get an email before every, thanks, Betty, before every broadcast. I'm going to make an effort to do these much more often. It's a new year and I'm trying out some new things. So, if you have any suggestions also, please do feel free to bring them forward. But yes, go ahead and join the mailing list. There's a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening this year, and I want to share it with you all and keep you well informed at what's going on with me and with Adderley Physiotherapy. So thanks for jumping on. I hope to see you again on future broadcasts. And everyone, please enjoy the rest of your holiday and stay blessed.